Hi everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing this week? Did you get my newsletter last night? I saw a couple more people signed up, so I hope if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, you will do that this week and get that free copy of my little PDF, The Love, Sex, and the Spiritual Path, and enjoy that. This is Revolutionary Love. This is the Revolutionary Love group. I'm Barb Beck. I'm a 21-year relationship coach, been doing this forever, love it, talk all things relationship, and I'm just so happy that all of you are here. Hi Jennifer, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Still struggling a little bit, you guys, with kind of a lingering cough from this ridiculous cold and junk that I think we've all had. And so got the tea here, and we'll see if we can get through this with all this talking. Hi Rory, how are you? While I just do a couple more highs and how's it going, and this is what we're talking about. Jennifer, you right there, Roy, would you guys put in the comments right now just the shortest comment about what's your belief about whether a significant other is entitled to your passwords? You can just, if you want, you can just say yes or no, or you can put a little comment, because before I jump in, I've got a few people that have emailed me their thoughts. I'm just gonna feed back to you some thoughts of what you guys have shared with me. And then we'll go into what this teaching is, okay? So come on, Jen. Come on, Roy. Let me know that you're here, and just give me a yes or a no, or it's complicated or whatever. And let me see, while you guys are doing that, what else I can say. So the group is building. You guys all seem to really enjoy last week's live stream, and so that was fun. We were talking about why in the hell we don't actually ask the questions that we need and want to ask of people, whether it's of a person that we're just beginning to date. You know, I was laughing saying things like, are you married? Or questions that we really want to ask a spouse, that kind of thing. So lots of, about 500 views on that. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm glad that was helpful. If you guys, if anybody here didn't catch it, please go back and look at that one. So anybody here? Anybody going to write down, what are your thoughts about, is your significant other, is your partner, is your spouse, is the person you've been in a long-term relationship with entitled to your passwords? Anybody? You're not going to write anything, huh? So what I've heard the last night and this morning, while you guys hopefully will just put a yes or no or something here, what I've heard is everything from not if we're dating, but if we end up, you know, getting engaged, getting married, absolutely. I think my spouse is absolutely entitled to all of my passwords on everything. And yes, literally we should sit down and write them down and share them with each other. To hell no, never. I don't care if we've been together forever, we're committed, or in a marriage. I don't think there's, if we have trust, then I don't think there'd be any reason that a spouse would need my passwords. I think that's private. And I think there's something wrong with that. So I got a couple thumbs up on that. Anybody want to say what are they saying yes to that? I had one person say to me, I'm uncomfortable with it, but I do think they're entitled to it, because what their spouse, or I guess a partner, had said to them was, I have to have all these passwords if something happens to you. Okay, well that's one thought. So that was another person's comment. Let me look and see what else did somebody say. I think there was one that somebody said, it was kind of funny. I think that we should give like a password or an opening, or, you know, whatever, at a time, like one at a time, like, and test it and see how their significant other does with having the password to that, having access to their phone, being a Facebook friend, all of those kinds of things. One at a time, see if they've proven themselves to be trustworthy, and then maybe keep doling out more. So that was the feedback that I got. Let me just put my glasses on and see if anybody. Hi, Charlie. How are you doing? Charlie, do you have any opinion? Joe, I'm just checking, taking a poll here. Opinions. Do you have any opinion about whether you think a partner, a significant other, a spouse in a committed relationship is entitled, that word entitled, to your passwords and things like that? Anybody? Jill's got something here. Hi, Jill. Jill said, no, we're all entitled to our privacy and space. They can certainly ask for specifics, and you can share accordingly. It's an evolving privilege. Thank you, Jill. I like that. I like what you wrote. That's great. Anybody else? Let's throw a few more in here. That was really great. Who else has got something to share? Let me just say again, so this live stream is about, is your significant other, partner, spouse entitled to your passwords? Once you really know, I mean, I think we'd all agree that somebody you're just have started to date isn't entitled to that, but maybe we don't know that. But is the person you're really committed to entitled to that? Should that be part of what you share with them? Jan said, dating, no. Hi, Jan, by the way. Marriage, yes. Trust is essential to me. Okay. I love you. I love your comments, you guys. So can we get somebody else to just throw one in, and then I'm just going to take a dive right into this teaching, and I just think this is going to be fun. I do want to say, as I wrote in, the explanation on Facebook, this is a really heated topic. People get really wound up about this. It was not surprising to me, but I was reminded in the work that I do that people get very triggered around this. A lot of people have had some bad experiences around this. I have. I will share that with you. And some people have some great experiences with this. I have, and I'll share that with you about what Brian and I have done. So anybody else want to share just one more thing? Hey, Brian. Brian, yes, no? We'll make Mr. Hathaway answer this. Just a quick, I don't know how long you can stay on. Is your significant other entitled to your passwords? Can you answer that for us, Brian? Yes, no, maybe, I don't know, it's complicated, whatever. While he's thinking about what he's going to write. Hi, Diane. How are you? What do you think, Diane? I'm taking a poll right now before I jump into the teaching. What do you think? Is it a yes, you guys? Is it a no? Is it not black and white like that? Does it depend? Brian said yes. So you think that I am entitled to your passwords. Okay, Brian and I had a good conversation about this last night. So I will actually share that his yes had, some reasons around that. It wasn't just, okay, we're together now, here's a big long list of my passwords. And like I said, I'll talk to you about what Brian and I have done. But I guess you would say that overall, Brian, that you were saying, yeah, I think that, my spouse should have access to those. Anybody else want to jump in? Okay. This is so fun. Thank you so much for participating. It's always really fun when you guys will comment on here and participate, because we've got so many people that can't show up live during the day and they watch the replay, and sometimes they'll comment later, but it's so much more fun to have you guys really engaging with me and to ask questions, when I'm doing these teachings that right live in the moment are meaningful to you. So let me just take another one. Diane said, yes. If it's a trusting relationship, it shouldn't matter. Yeah, great thought. Great. Okay. So we're kind of split. We maybe have a couple more yeses, but there's definitely caveats that you guys are saying. Yes, and. Yes, if it's a trusting relationship. Right. Sorry about that. Fun call in the middle. Let me just look and see. Hi, Danny. How are you? Danny, do you have any thoughts about this? Do you have a yes or no? Is your significant other entitled to your passwords? I think I'm remembering that you're married. Is that right, Danny? Would it be a yes? Would it be a no? Is it not black and white? Is it complicated? I'm just taking a lot of comments here, and people are commenting, and it's great. And then I'm going to jump into the teaching right now. So, Danny, if you want to share really quick, you don't have to, but if you want to just give us a yes or a no or a I don't know, let me take a couple more. and then we'll go from there. How about some thumbs up or some hearts if this is resonating? Okay. Let me just look and see if you guys have anything else to share before I jump in. Okay. Okay, Danny said, thank you, Danny. I kind of put you on the spot there. Danny said, hey, I am married and we have full access to each other's info. Fabulous, okay? So what we're getting a little more of just here in these comments are yes. And some of them, yes, and that's because, you know, we feel we have a good, trusting relationship, that kind of thing. We've gotten a couple of, no, absolutely not. Lots of these things get to remain private, maybe depending on a situation or why something's coming up, might share something. And so that's a great answer. Those are great responses. And not too many of you just black and white. Yes, absolutely, we get together, sit down, write these things out and hand them over. They're entitled to it. And not a lot of, hell no, they should never have access to anything no matter what. So, you know, for myself, I do think there's a lot of gray area here. I do have an opinion, and I guess as I'm jumping in now, let me make sure somebody else isn't sharing something. Hi, Ellen. Okay, I'm going to jump into the teaching now, you guys, okay? And I'll look back here in the middle of this, see if we've got any questions, or maybe at the end to see if you've got any questions before I wind up. Here's what I want to say. Everything that I'm expressing here is my opinion. So if this doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't fit, if you're doing this in a different way, great. I'm only expressing my opinion. I will tell you that my opinion is based on my own life, my life experience, me doing really dumb things and stupid things, which you guys have heard about for a lot of years into my 30s. I would have been the person to be like, F you, you get nothing. You know, I was just out of control. And 21 years experience as a relationship coach. 5 years of that was working with a beautiful man, a psychologist who runs the Save the Marriage group. And that is relationships and things that are just absolutely, people have reached a point of crisis. And so this was a huge topic. So I have a lot of experience in this. So I'm not pulling the expert card on you and telling you you should believe everything I say or follow my guidance. I am going to say to you, I would love for you to take seriously what I say and just think about this and then decide for yourself, okay? So everything I'm talking about here is my opinion based on my experience. Can I just say to you that I think that your significant other, your spouse, your long-term partner is entitled to your passwords? No, I couldn't say yes to that. I don't actually believe that we are entitled or that we deserve pretty much anything in a relationship or in a friendship or in a love relationship. And I really mean that. And I think you've heard me say that before. I don't believe we deserve or are entitled to anything. I think it's extremely important that we understand what our absolute requirements are, our deal breakers, our non-negotiables in a relationship, and that we make sure that those are met. Okay? So the distinction here I'm making is you don't deserve to be treated well. Stay with me. My hope is that you wouldn't settle or tolerate poor behavior. You get the difference? So if we apply it to this, I don't think you deserve to have everything provided to you that helps you feel more secure, or, you know, or to help with jealousy or a low sense of self-esteem or whatever. But I would hope that you would be able to build the kind of relationship from your own inner work, and then in looking, basing on your requirements, you know, for a partner who can match you there, and that you happily have deep, meaningful conversations and share these kinds of things. As the, I can't think who said it now, Jill maybe, as they come up. Okay, that's what I'm hoping. So my answer first is, I don't believe we are just entitled or deserve anything because we're in a relationship. That said, the next thing that I said we would talk about is, does it usually mean then that someone is hiding something if they refuse to give them to you? Okay, this is where I'm going to tell you as a relationship coach what my experience is, and combine that with my own personal experience. Let me start with my personal experience. I am somebody who's fiercely independent. I like time alone. I like my privacy. I mean, every partner I've been with, I have had to explain that and let them know that this has nothing to do with them. If I just suddenly decide I need to go off on a little weekend retreat myself, it has nothing to do with them, and I'm not off hiding something. If I just suddenly decide that I want to go out in the evening, go to a movie, or take myself to dinner alone, it has nothing to do with them and only to do with, I like my time alone, I like my privacy. So in that, if somebody, I remember with the only seriously bad relationship that I had, very, very unhealthy, very toxic, was several years ago, maybe 7 years ago or something. You've kind of heard me allude to that before. I knew within a few months, I knew a good 6 months in, that this person was probably unstable, certainly unhealthy, had some really, really big issues, insecurities, abandonment issues, that kind of thing going on. And this person was, not only asking for these kind of things, was sneaking these kinds of things. And it's so ridiculous when I think back about how long I tolerated that. This person would go in and look at my emails. The only reason that I would know that is later on they would refer to something, like trying to pick an argument or something, and I would think, how do you know that? And it wasn't anything wrong. It wasn't anything I'd done. I wasn't doing anything. Any of you who know me, at least from my 30s on, know that I am a person of the utmost integrity. I don't lie about the smallest things. I don't hide. I don't withhold. When I talk about something, I tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. I don't leave pieces out, that kind of thing. Anybody who knows me, my friends, my lovers, my partners, my family, know that about me. If a partner doesn't know that, then you know there's something really wrong. And so this person would, hug me and then feel something in my back pocket while they were hugging me and whip it out. It'd be like a business card from a networking group that I'd been to that morning. This person knew I'd been to a networking group and be like, who's this? What's this card? It just was crazy. And so because I did not want to or feel comfortable just giving this person all of my passwords and that kind of thing, it didn't mean it was because I was hiding something. So that isn't always the case. Like a couple of you have said here, it's because you just have a belief that there isn't any reason to do that. Now, I was happy in the moment to be transparent, about, my phone, will you grab it? I'm driving. I need you to get into my phone. The password is this. I would do that all the time. And then this person would file it away in their head. It was creepy. So, no, it does not always mean that someone's hiding something if they refuse to do that. The important thing here, and you're going to hear me say this through this whole live stream teaching, the important thing here is your intention, someone's intention for asking for these passwords or asking for this information, and your reason for not wanting to share or be transparent. That's the important part of this teaching. The why, the intention behind both, the asking for it or the sharing it. That's what's important. And that's what's going to highlight the health or the immaturity of your relationship, is how you're actually having conversations about this. That's what's important, you guys. So grab your journal. This is where I say grab your journal. Put a star. The important thing here in this is your significant other entitled to your passwords. The important thing here in this whole teaching is not whether the answer is yes or no. The answer to being entitled deserving is a no. The important part of this teaching is self-reflection. If I'm asking, why am I asking? If I'm scared and asking, why am I scared? If I'm sensing something's going on, am I talking about it? And then the other person who is either not wanting to give up this stuff or is refusing, again, the personal work of, why does that make me so uncomfortable? Am I actually feeling like, to the point of being triggered around this, is this some old stuff going on with me that I need to clear? Am I truly feeling like I have some things to hide? Do I really feel like I have some things that I've held back, that I'm convincing myself that my significant other, my partner, my spouse doesn't need to know that about me? Ooh. So if we've got any of that going on, these kinds of things bring up the opportunity for us to do some really great deep inquiry. That's where we always begin, correct? Relationship to self. You've heard me say it over and over and over and over. Relationship to self. So that's where we start. Okay, so I said the next question we talk about is, what's my personal experience as a relationship coach with individuals checking on partners? Here's my experience as a coach. Okay, so with clients, remember, a bulk of my business is working with people that are in long-term relationships or marriages that are starting to have trouble, where the emotional connection is breaking down, where somebody has found out there's been a betrayal, an affair, that kind of thing, or found out they're being lied to, where a spouse has hit a midlife crisis and somebody's wondering what is going on. Is it a midlife crisis? Are they interested in somebody else? Are they considering ending the marriage? That kind of thing. So that's a big chunk, maybe half of the work that I do. So I'm going to answer from that. And the other is working with people that are just looking at, going into dating again, and maybe have some experience or some baggage or that kind of thing around that. So we've got a couple new people that jumped on. Hi, Kat. So the question I'm answering right now for you guys who just jumped on is, what's my personal experience? As an expert and a relationship coach doing this for 21 years with individuals, checking on partners. I'm going to answer it this way. I find there are two reasons that most people are ending up what I call playing detective with their partner, okay? One is that person really, truly does have some pretty deep insecurities. They're the first that could tell you that. They will tell you that they've had kind of a jealousy issue for most of their life. That's the way they'll say it to me. They just have some deep insecurities and are really, really working on or needing to work on self-love, to raise their sense of self-worth, to keep raising their self-esteem. And so when someone's got an issue in that area, which is really sad because we all know, I don't think there's anybody who at some point in their life has not felt jealousy or insecurity, correct? Can you guys give me a thumbs up or a heart if you've at any point in your life or in a love relationship ever felt insecurity or jealousy or fear around, oh my God, is my partner doing something? None of you have felt that way. I have. And I don't even have trouble with jealousy or insecurity. And I've had that experience. And most people tell me that at some point, that they have. Okay, so Does anything feel worse? Does anything feel worse other than finding out that you literally have been betrayed and getting that shocking news that we talked about a couple of weeks ago? God, does anything feel worse than you just in your head wondering, is my partner interested in someone else? Are they flirting with someone else? Is there something going on behind my back? I'm watching them at a party. I'm feeling jealous because I see them talking to a really cute girl. I'm feeling insecure because, he's joking with this person and they're having a good time. Ugh, nothing feels worse. So my experience is that in relationships, when somebody really starts to want to check up on a partner or play detective or that kind of thing, it's either that somebody has kind of a deep-seated issue that's been going on maybe their whole life or for a long time around insecurity, jealousy, a low sense of self-esteem and self-worth. And what happens is, instead of doing that personal work, they'll project it onto their partner. So every time that they feel insecure or jealous or wonder in their head, my spouse is traveling now all week for the next month, to go, work on site or whatever. And I know that he's traveling with 2 other colleagues. One is a team, part of his team, and she's a pretty woman and fun and funny. I'm so insecure. And then start that projection. Actually start accusing or blaming or assuming or all those things, you guys, that we don't want to do. So if I'm talking to you right now, if you are saying, I don't want to admit this is me, this is what's going on, my heart goes out to you. Let's get to work on this, okay? You don't need to feel shame about this, but we need to do something about it because, one, I want you to feel better. I want you to get past this insecurity and this jealousy and be able to feel a sense of freedom. Absolutely. So let's get a hold of me and let's do some work together. If you're on the receiving end of this, then you've got to practice speaking up clearly and being kind but direct and not enabling somebody's behavior by dancing around it or kind of appeasing it or that kind of thing. You've got to stand strong and say, I do not need to prove anything to you. I'm not doing anything. I love you. I'm honest. I'm trustworthy. You've seen that in everything that I've done and everything I do on a daily basis. And so my heart goes out to you, but I'm asking you to look at this and work on it and then move on. Okay? It's such a hard thing. My other experience is the flip side of that. That yes, when someone is feeling the need to really check up then on a partner, if it's not that somebody's doing that out of their own fear, insecurity, deep-seated jealousies, that kind of thing, then usually if it's been a pretty good relationship and they've been together for quite a while and there's been trust built, if somebody's starting to get a really deep feeling that something's going on and feeling the need to check up on a partner, I'm sorry to say that the majority of the time it is because they're sensing intuitively that something is going on. And here's your checkpoint though. You should be able to tell then at the same time if you're feeling that or getting these intuitive hits or gut feelings, you should be able to look back and see that the emotional connection has gotten broken down. Usually if somebody's starting to kind of wave over here into some kind of distraction or emotional connection with someone else or something, flirting or something's feeling off, that you're sensing with your partner, if it really is going on, you should be able to make that connection to the emotional connection between the two of you having gotten broken down or stretched too thin. So that's the first checkpoint. Write that down, grab your journals, make a star by that. The first thing you do is not just go like, oh my God, I have this intuitive hit. I can really feel it. I've just been feeling it for a while. You do the check first. Is the emotional connection between us stretched too thin or gotten broken down? Because if it has, that can be the next thing that happens. If you go, no, we're strong, we're good, we're totally connected, that's not making sense then. That's not making sense. You shouldn't have a very strong emotional connection, good bond, still feel safety, great trust between you, and then have what I call a hinky feeling about what somebody's doing. That to me might be the sign of, again, just some personal fear or personal insecurity of maybe something new going on, like maybe now my spouse is just starting to travel for business or that kind of thing. So check that. That would be a checkpoint. But yes, otherwise, sad to say that when somebody in a good relationship does start to really feel this deep need to check on something because things are not adding, it's usually because things are not adding up. Somebody's behavior is starting to be different. It's things like a person will start to take their phone into the bathroom. This is like if they never do this. Will start taking their phone into the bathroom and have private calls in the restroom with the door locked. People will start not leaving their phone laying around anywhere and start to leave a room and go back and grab their phone and carry their phone around with them everywhere. They'll start getting on Facebook really, really late at night, staying up late at night when they haven't usually done that, in a different room. And if you do happen to come in, maybe they'll be on Facebook. And a lot of times there's, some weird connections and flirting and things like that going on. Yeah, that's my experience. Most of the people that had come to me through Save the Marriage had told me that because they were in crisis mode, they had already gotten to the point where they had known that something was off, that their partner was acting different, consistently doing something different, that they said they were somewhere where they realized that they found out just casually that their spouse wasn't there that Saturday when they said that's what they were doing, golfing or something, or that they were off with a girlfriend getting a manicure or pedicure, and then they found out in this innocent way that no, they weren't, and things started to happen like that. And most of them would tell me that by the time they had called me and I started working with them, they had already checked on their partner. They had already played detective. They would say like, I know it's probably not right, but I just did it. And I went into my partner's phone after they fell asleep. I went into their emails and checked things. And sadly, when they really had that feeling, when it had been a good relationship and they had that feeling, most of them found something and knew that there was something off. Okay, so here's what I want to say before I get to the last question here. What we do first when we feel like, gosh, something may be off here, we don't just go in and ask a partner for all of their passwords and to check on them. Uh-oh, I just realized this phone is going to keep going off here. All right, I'm just going to ignore it, okay? What you do first is what you do as a good, mature partner in any solid relationship, even if you feel like something is going on. You guys know what that is? We go direct, always, correct? We always go direct. Our next step is not to assume the worst and go check on somebody. Our first step is not to go behind our partner's back, the person that we love. I don't care how hinky you feel or what intuitive hit you're getting. It is your job to always show up with integrity and show up as the man or woman that you want to be. And that means you always go direct. You don't accuse. You ask your partner in a very calm, kind, loving way, could we sit and have a conversation? I just have some things I want to share with you. There's no accusing, there's no blaming, and if you want your partner to be to feel safe enough to share some things that are going on. I can't promise you they will or won't. But if you are really hoping for that kind of connection, it is your responsibility to create that safe, sacred space. At least to allow them to feel safe enough to do that. And that means no accusing. You say things like, I'm not blaming here. I'm not accusing here. My hope is that we could have a really good, loving conversation. And I just feel like something's off. I don't know if I've done anything. I would love to create enough safe space here that you could feel like you could tell me anything. I want to assure you that I'm not going to get so upset that I can't hear you, that I will start attacking you, that I will get defensive. I am here doing my work, and whatever it is you need to share with me, I want to be present and hear what you have to say. And then just say a little bit about what you're feeling. I'm having a sense, I might be right, I might be wrong, that maybe someone's caught your attention. Or, maybe you're a little interested in somebody. Or maybe you're losing interest in me. And while that would make me feel sad, I want you to know that I'd rather really have an honest conversation with you, and I'm open, versus us just stuffing things and not talking about it. And then, you guys, you better mean it. You better mean it. And you better have done your work to be a great listener, to not go into defense or attack mode, and to really create safe space if you want hard truths to be told. Think about how you would want to be able to share a hard truth that you know that your partner is not going to be happy to hear. What kind of space would need to be created? So that's what we always do first. We don't just run and start checking emails and grabbing phones in the middle of the night. You do that consistently. Sometimes just a conversation like that, whether a partner even shares the full truth. Yes, I've been flirting with somebody at work. Sometimes that right there opens a door for that emotional connection to start getting built back, because you've opened the door to just honesty again, trust again, intimacy being built back. And sometimes that right there can kind of nip things in the bud, bring somebody back into alignment, have them themselves think, ooh, my partner is sensing kind of what's going on with me, and I'm a little embarrassed about this, or I'm not happy with my behavior, and I just want to get myself back into alignment. Sometimes that can happen, and that's a wonderful thing. It's really wonderful if somebody can share openly about what they've been feeling or what's going on. Sometimes it doesn't change anything. Somebody is too scared. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be caught. They don't want there to be some consequences. They want to keep being in this relationship and exploring this relationship over here. And sometimes it doesn't do anything. And they'll get pretty defensive and say, there's nothing going on. I've never done anything. I can't believe you're blaming me. And you need to just be calm and say, I'm not doing any of those things. In fact, that's exactly why I'm talking to you, is so that I'm not doing those things. I respect you. I'm just asking for us to have a good conversation. And then you keep listening and watching and assessing and using your wise discernment. At some point, if you decide that you need to check on something, I'm not going to tell you that's right or wrong. I really take these things on a case-by-case basis when I talk to clients about this. Sometimes something's been going on for so long and it's so clear that somebody's having an affair. I mean, so clear. And, the only way, they've tried everything, the only way they're really going to know is if they play detective and hire somebody or go into a phone that person has got, taped to their side, to actually really know so that they can make a decision for themselves or take a next step if they want to move towards, telling them that I know, or separating or ending the relationship. And I got to tell you, my personal opinion after doing this work for this long is I don't actually think that that is wrong in every case to play detective. That is if something's been going on so long and you've been having conversations and you've been calling this person out on it, and you're really almost 100% sure that this behavior is a reflection of that. Oh, kind of not a fun conversation. Okay. Let me tell you, so the last question I said I would talk about, is it okay to have a private life when you are in a committed relationship? Actually, let me answer that one first, and then I'm going to tell you, just so you have a nice little picture of what I think it looks like when we do this in a healthy way. We'll end on that, and I'll tell you what Mr. Hathaway and I have done. Is it okay to have a private life when you're in a committed relationship? Yeah, I believe it is. Like I said, I am one of those people who is really, really big on having privacy, having a private life. I want time alone. I don't want to just, share every single thought I ever have with a partner. That's just me. Now, here's the difference and here's the distinction. And again, here's another really important thing I want you to write in your journal and star it. There is a huge difference, you guys, between secrecy and privacy. And if that's the only thing you get out of this live stream today, this will be a gem for you to hold on to. There is a world of difference between secrecy and privacy. When I landed my Badinsky in therapy in my early 30s, when I had my huge crash and burn and was acting like a fool out there in the world and in relationships and hurting myself and hurting other people and blah, 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 my therapist said to me, "You are only as sick as the secrets you keep." What she was talking about was, one, there had been incest in my family. All of that, all of you who have been through that all know that centers around secrecy, don't tells. If you tell, you're in trouble, that kind of thing. It also meant that I had got into a place in my life where I just had secrets and told lies about everything. I'd had that modeled for me. I had shame around things that I didn't want to share around these kind of things like sexual abuse. And then it just played out in my life where I just figured that coping skill worked for me. I would just keep secrets, not tell things I didn't want to tell, assume that I that way didn't have to have any consequences for anything. It's a horrible, horrible, painful way to live. So when she said that, you're only as sick as the secrets you keep, she was talking about my experience of my childhood and my life, and also the way that I had begun moving through the world myself. Our agreement was no more secrets ever. No secrets. But privacy is something completely different. Privacy means we get to decide that this information, whatever this is here, is private to me, and I decide whether I share that with you or not. I decide how much I'm going to reveal. I decide how vulnerable I'm going to be. And what do we base that on? Any of you who know the beautiful work of Brené Brown know that when she talks about her vulnerability work, one of the things that we're emphasizing is the need to create safety first, right? Right. So, while I am basically an open book, and I mean not just in my marriage or in my intimate relationships before or, with my friends, while I am basically an open book and just really transparent in my life, I have learned that some people are not safe to share all kinds of very personal, private things about myself. And the reason I say not safe is because I've shared some things at times with family members who didn't keep what I shared with them confidential, even when they said they would. I shared some things with partners or, spouses who didn't create safety for me and came back in arguments and used that kind of thing against me. So while I move through the world transparent, promising myself that I don't keep secrets, if I'm keeping secret, that means I need to clear something up. That means something's going on. But while I move through the world as a very open-hearted, transparent person, I also am very clear that I am entitled to a private life and to privacy, and I am very, very intentional about what I share and who I share it with, and I make sure that that person is someone who can, I guess what I call, honor me, who treats me respectfully, who creates safe space for me, and who can honor me and what it is that I'm sharing with them. That's what we're talking about here. The difference between secrecy and privacy. And so that rolls over into the last thing that I want to share with you. So in a love relationship then, what a lot of you have shared is that's how a lot of you, and that's how Brian and I have ended up sharing these kinds of personal things in our relationship. Passwords, codes, all that kind of thing. The way we've done it is not because we said, well, we're together now, so I guess I'm going to get out a piece of paper and list everything for you, so that you can basically check on me at any time. Because isn't that what we're secretly saying? Is if we have someone's passwords and that kind of thing, aren't we saying we need them so that at any point that we want to use them or check up on somebody, we would? I mean, otherwise, why are we looking for them? So the way that we do that in a high-functioning, healthy, emotionally mature relationship is by just doing it either on a need-to-know basis, a case-by-case basis, or just simply because we say to somebody, hey, by the way, over in this personal file here, that now that we're living together, combining everything, and here's our files, in this personal file here are all of my codes and passwords and things like that that have to do with, how I get into things, or my private stuff, or my insurance information, or, Brian and I were just at my financial planners and, that kind of thing. And they're all under that personal file if there'd be anything you'd ever need. So I may not go write them down and go, here you go, honey, here's the big list. But, we shared that because we're starting to do things like, put each other on each other's beneficiaries list and, combine insurance, and I'm getting my husband's name, on my stocks and bonds and all those kinds of things. He's putting me on his 401k. You just naturally do that. So here's how Brian and I, when we first got together, first we just started having conversations around this. We have conversations around everything, and that's what I want you guys to do. You build safety first, the foundation of safety, by showing each other that you can have these conversations without personal attacks, without blame, without accusations, that kind of thing. So as you're building your dating and you're building the relationship, you're focusing on creating safety first between the two of you. So that you have an experience of, oh, I am understanding that I feel safe with this person, that he or she is a good listener, and they don't blame or accuse me or start personally attacking me. They don't verbally abuse me. They don't shame me. And so I am feeling safe in this relationship. When we create that foundation of safety, then what happens? Trust starts to be formed. As trust is forming in a relationship, and the more time that we spend with somebody, and we see that what they are saying, their words are matching their actions, what they're saying they're going to do, they actually follow through on, that's how trust starts being built. Sorry, my throat's getting scratchy. So we're laying down the foundation of safety. As we're experiencing that, we're sharing more, we're talking about more, we're sharing more vulnerably. As we're sharing more vulnerably, trust is being built more and more and more. And what happens from there is the emotional connection is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. What's happening from there is intimacy is created. You see how that works? So write that down. We build safety first. We focus on that, a foundation of safety. Then trust is built from there. Emotional connection gets stronger and stronger. And intimacy is created. Deep intimacy. Into me you see. That's how that works. From that place, I want my beloved partner to know most everything about me. It feels good. My focus is not on a deep need for privacy and independence. I just know that I always have that. I am an independent person. I don't need to prove it to him all the time. I do have a sense of privacy, and I know that I have a private life. I don't have to push him or prove that to him all the time. It just, edges soften. It's just the way that we show up with each other. And anything that he needs or wants is fine. I'm an open book. I'm transparent. So that's how we have shared things with each other. Again, I gave the example. When I'm driving or he's driving, and all of a sudden, his phone goes off or mine does, or we need to get on the phone and we're like, oh, use your phone. Would you call that? We both will say like, what's your password again? And we'll put it in. Or maybe now we remember it. And so we'll pick up the phone and just put it in. Nobody gets tweaked about that at all. We'll run to the bank and, it's been freezing out. And he's kind enough to go like, I'll get the money out for you. I hand him my debit card and go, my password is this. I wouldn't think twice about not giving him my password or not sharing something or thinking, oh, that's all private. I wouldn't think twice about it because this is the man I love. We have safety. We have a high level of trust. We talk about everything. And so that's how we've shared everything with each other. When one of us calls and goes, what's your social security number? I'm at the doctor's office. They're asking for my, emergency name and the social security. We don't think twice about giving each other all of this information. On Facebook, we're friends on Facebook. We go into each other's Facebook pages. We've seen who each other's friends are and that kind of thing. We've asked casually, not, out of fear. Oh, who's that person? I don't know that person. Oh, I met that person at work, or I know that person out there. We just share. So that's what I'm wishing for all of you, is that you feel personally a high level of self-confidence, a high level of self-esteem and self-worth, that you know that you don't have to worry about the people that you're attracting into your life, that you know how to sort and screen when you're dating using your requirements, and what you absolutely know are your deal breakers, and that you're only moving forward with people who you can see right away that they are creating safety for you, that they are respectful of you, and that you are building trust together. When you do that, really, I have to tell you, the question then is just kind of off the table about whether, someone is entitled to all of your passwords or to see things or to look at Facebook or to go into, any kind of things that you've held private or you might not share with somebody else. It's just off the table because that trust is there. And you guys are partners, and you're a team, you're a we, and you're helping each other out. And you're there to lift each other up. You're there to help each other be the very best that you can be. That's the kind of beautiful, meaningful, loving, trusting relationship that I want for each and every one of you. So I hope this was helpful. If you've got any questions at all, please put them in the comments later. Share this replay with everyone that you can, please. And if you've got a personal question you want to ask me after all of this, you can send me an email at barb@coachbeck.com, and I'll be glad to answer you. Okay? Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll talk to you all soon.